Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Shion0014 here with another video, and today I'm going to talk about defense shredding. Now, in my ball video, I did make it. In that video, I did do a defense shred guide in that video. However, it's for a boss rotation, so I kind of want to just talk about it without like a boss being attached. And whatnot to make it easier for people to see, and I can point people to this video instead of, you know, hey, look at this rotation. You know, people might click off the video. So this is important for guild boss and SOS. So if you are into guild boss, you're into SOS, you know, you care about points, you care about ranks, then this is the video for you. This, for, you know, everything else is kind of not needed per se. The game is a little bit too easy to worry about like shredding a boss's defense, really, but this might help you for other things. But anyways, let's begin. So the first thing we want to do is we want to check the guild boss for the week. This is important because we have to shred the boss's defense, right? And sometimes there are intel that these bosses have that will help shred defense. For instance, if I go to the select here and you see this like intel section, if I click on this, versus this boss has foes damage taken is increased by 3% for each debuff they have, up to 45%. So this boss takes an extra 45% damage, which is a 45% defense shred. Yatsu, I believe it's the same thing. As you can see over here, foes damage taken is increased for 10% for each element they have, up to 40, right? So you have to make a mental note of that. And now I'm going to show you guys the website I use for calculating everything and whatnot. So let's go to my luful.net. Apologies for not being shown, but all right, I'm on luful.net. I'm doing a display capture instead so you guys can see these drop downs because this wasn't in my previous video. So this is from the beginning, and we're gonna do ball here, for instance. Okay, so we're gonna do ball as our boss of choice. So we're gonna click on this drop down here and we're gonna go to ball, right? Now these numbers right here, we don't have to worry about any of these, so don't change them. All right, and now you have two sections. You have pierce and you have defense reduction. This is how you calculate how much defense reduction you need in order to get the most amount of damage. So the goal is that we're trying to shred everything to get the most amount of damage possible, because if you don't shred the defense, the boss is going to resist a lot of your damage. So let's begin with this. So this revelation pierce total, what does that mean? Well, if we go back to game here and we go to, let's use ball for instance, and I'm using Mesa here, right? And we take a look at Mesa's stats, click on this magnifying glass, and we go down here to pierce rate. This is what we're going to put in that section, in that revelation pierce total section. So let's put 10.7% in here. Elucidation power. What does this mean? Well, it's pretty easy. So all you have to do is go to your navigator of choice, minus Futaba for this scenario. Click on this magnifying glass. Now, do not calculate this pierce rate number. You see this icon called Elucidator Skill? Click on that. So these are the stats that are given to your team, because one of the abilities of Futaba, if I go to the persona, is increase party stats by 28% of Futaba's stats. So those stats that are increased is from this button here. Now we go down and the pierce rate's 3.3%. So we go back to this and we type in 3.3%. Okay. Now these are pierce from other sources. So if you have Marion A1, Vino A6, Messa's passive, which we will click. Mindscape, we don't have that unlocked yet, and exclusive weapon, we don't click because Messa's exclusive weapon only works on certain types of damage, not all of his damage, so we want to shred all of the resist at all times, so we're not going to include that. Alright, so I have a 35% pierce rate. It's a little low, but I have 35%. Now what do? We go to this defense reduction tab. Now, remember what I talked about earlier about, let's go back here, that 45% here, the special effect? if I go, that goes right here. This other defense reduction, 45%. All right. Now these are all the options of shredding defense. And so we're gonna start with my revelation cards, right? My Summer Moko has control and departure on, so I'm gonna click on control and departure. Okay. And my Summer Moko is A1, and I have the weapon, so I'm gonna click on that. And if we look at my game, you can see that A1 and the weapon. Okay. And that's all for that. So now I still need about 43%, right? Now, sadly, this Mesa, it was a little higher pierce, so I can't just Raccoonda and that's it, right? As you can see, I still need 4.2, so I need a little bit more pierce on Mesa to fully pierce it. But you can do other stuff like Yano, right? That will almost get it, right? Navi 1. And my Navi is max, so I'm gonna do 13, and that should bring it down. Skill 1 for normal boss. You know, that's so close. Raccoonda, etc, etc. Now, obviously, if your Navi is A0, F0, you want to make sure this is level 10. If the boss is weak to the element, just do that. 3 turns, and then you should have it. Now, I will say, Futaba S1 gives a lot of shred. So, if you want, what you could do is, if you want to, like, use S1, you can use S1. It'll be your most, like, kind of free way to shred the boss's defense the most possible, so you don't have to use, like, Raccoonda and stuff. However, if you want to do more damage, right, and use your S2, you could do something like Raccoonda or, you know, Labyrinth Resolve and get a little more, you know, resist go, get a little more pierce going, right? So there's a lot of stuff you could do here, but basically the name of the game is to figure out a way with your team to shred the boss fully. That's the most important part. And when you fully shred it, it will say there's no more defense on the boss, and you will have a final damage increase of 236%. So this is very important. Now, like I said before, if you can get everything without Navi S1, right? If you can shred everything, like let's say you're using Raccoonda, and you're using, you know, Yano and Trent. Let's just imagine we're doing a lot of shred, right? Now, what does this mean? Now, instead of doing skill 1 on Navi, you can use skill 2 to do more damage, right? So it's kind of a give and trade. Also, next patch we'll be getting Shiva, and we'll be getting Vishnu as well. So that's gonna help a lot with shredding defense as well. Anyways, but yeah, that's just a quick video of defense shredding and how it's important. If you realize your numbers are lower than other people's, it might be because you're not shredding the boss. So please check this out. I'll leave the website in the description down below so you can look at it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later next time. Peace.